What's up, crew? Welcome back into the channel. This is a video that we're pulling out of the archive. This is back from 2023 when I spoke at an event called Agency Founders. It is still very applicable to growing and building agency businesses today and how to systemize them so things don't break. So enjoy the content. Let's dive in. This is wild. They gave me a laser pointer. That was a mistake, let's be honest. But I'm not gonna lie, I had a little anxiety coming up here. Appreciate it, the go Josh. They got the signs up. Appreciate it, boys. Appreciate you. I had a little anxiety coming out here today. And a lot of it really stemmed around to how I was actually gonna get to the stage. When I envisioned me walking up on this stage, I thought it was gonna be like Tony Robbins style, where I was coming down the middle and I'd be high-fiving people the whole way down. That wasn't the case at all. The last time I've done anything like that was in high school when I was running out for my varsity basketball team, and you're like, Josh, you're 5'6" and 145 pounds. You didn't play varsity basketball. Little do you know, I graduated with 43 kids, so made that team extremely easy. So we're talking operations today, which I'm excited about. It's not the most exciting topic in the world, but hopefully we can sexy it up a little bit to where you guys are also really excited about it and give you guys some really good application going back into your business next week. And if you guys are cool with it, it's gonna be a little bit dry and it's gonna be a lot of application. So hopefully you guys are cool with that, of a more tactical talk versus something that's a little bit more high-level thinking. So that's what's kind of ahead of you for the next 2.5 hours, is a lot of dryness. So it's not 2.5 hours. All right, let's keep rolling. So topic today, how to cut your team's workload and your overhead by 25%. All right, and to give you a little bit of background, who is this person up here talking to me right now? I'm the past chief operating officer of an agency called Welling Media. Shout out to the OGs over there. And had a really great opportunity to grow and scale that business. And when I was the chief operating officer of Welling Media, I wasn't great at it, right? And so the idea here is that I learned exactly how not to be an operational manager through a lot of hindsight after I left that company, okay? And through that and through our acquisition, I was able to kind of uncover a lot of secrets and a lot of opportunities that we could have been doing better in the world of operations. That's what led me to start 321 Pocket Ops today, and now working with 30 to 35 agencies all across the globe and helping them build better operations. So super excited to be chatting with you guys today, and I want you guys to be able to extract the most out of this presentation today. So the whole idea behind this is that we have kind of 3 pieces, right? We have phases, which are kind of big ideas. So kind of just keep that in the back of your head as we're going through. You're gonna see phases. Those are just gonna be big ideas. Steps are going to be pieces of those phases, right? The small ideas that make the big ideas work. And then application, things that you should go and take and do once you leave here today, okay? Systems, it's good stuff. All right, so how have we been cutting our workload and overhead by 25%? Well, it starts with understanding business systemization, okay? And essentially how we do this, and the first understanding of business optimization, is just kind of understanding this pyramid here. And at the bottom, we have surviving. Next level up, we have stagnant. Next level up, we have scalable. And the next level up, we have sellable, okay? Now, with this, as we move forward, we need to have an understanding where we're at within each stage and be able to label ourselves as, hey, I'm in this stage, and be very open and honest with ourselves as entrepreneurs of hey, yeah, I'm in the surviving state, and it's not clear who's in charge of what. And you may be trying to figure out your product market fit still, right? You're the idea fairy within your organization, but you have the capabilities to execute on everything. And then the business owner is currently the bottleneck, AKA you are currently the bottleneck, okay? So that's the surviving stage, and we wanna try to exit that stage, and everyone starts here. So if you're like, oh shoot, he's talking directly to me, everyone starts here, okay? This is not something to be ashamed of. This is where any startup is going to start, okay? Then we have a stagnant. So once you graduate from the surviving stage, we move into the stagnant stage. Okay, the stagnant stage, all right, you kind of feel at capacity. Okay, a lot of volatility has left you, but you maybe haven't seen growth in a few months. The best team members understand your systems, but it's not clear to most of your team. Okay, so your really key players understand your system, but it's not clear to everybody that walks through your door. And then my opinion on this stage is that you just run an adult daycare at this stage, right? You're just pointing fingers and trying to keep people accountable the whole time. And so we do want to exit the stagnant stage pretty quickly as well. Okay? And then we have the scalable stage. This is where it gets fun. Okay? The scalable stage, you have a solid foundation around documenting your systems. But your team needs constant reminders to follow that system. Okay? And then this is a pretty dangerous stage to be at, because this is where a lot of people can get to, okay? But we have to move the team's thinking at this stage from we have to follow this process to this is how we do things. You want me to say that again? I'll do it anyway, okay? We have to follow this process to this is how we do things, okay? And that's the third stage. The last stage here is saleable, okay? I don't even know if that's a word, but I put it in the presentation. Okay. Your agency is a well-oiled machine that can consistently deliver extraordinary results. Okay. Your team adopts a system-centric culture. The systems work, and the people work the systems. And then this is, in turn, becomes your competitive advantage. And it'll be your journey of, have you guys heard of Kaizen before? Your process of forever improving. Okay. Does that make sense so far? You guys kind of see how those stack on top of each other? Okay, so surviving, stagnant, scalable, saleable. Okay? These are the stages that we're going to be working through. Now, before we get into like the real nitty-gritty stuff, the stuff that you can actually go and apply to your business, we have to have two realizations. Okay, the first realization is we must make before moving forward with our systems is you as the entrepreneur will be the bottleneck to this. Okay, you the entrepreneur will be the bottleneck to this. And so without letting go of your ego and allowing your team to take charge, there's no hope for you guys systemizing things, okay? So as a business owner, you have to be able to delegate. You have to be able to let go of you being the person in charge of creating systems. Okay, the second realization, was that first realization good? Yes. Sweet. All right, second realization is systems can be overwhelming, okay? But realize that you don't need hundreds of systems to have an effective marketing agency. It's just not necessary. Okay? I think a lot of times we see systems as a very overwhelming piece of our organization. It doesn't have to be. Okay? You actually don't need a lot of systems. And I'm going to teach you guys today the systems that you should be looking into to make it a little bit easier for you guys to scale. Okay? And we're going to take this building of systems just one step at a time. All right, we're not going to be looking at the entire company. We're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to do little by little, piece by piece. Now, we have 7 phases. I told you, 2.5-hour presentation. 7 phases of agency systemization, and we'll go through these pretty quickly. All right, but 7 phases in total. If you guys want to draw a quick graph of that, you can. Okay, we work through prescription, we work through delegation, extraction, assembly, integration, scale, and optimization. Do you guys nerd out on this like me? Or is this like, good Lord. We're nerd, baby. Good Lord. Like, this is boring. This is exciting to me. So phase 1 is prescription, okay? And this is the real first step in narrowing down what is holding back your agency. And the whole idea here, and we've talked about, is that you're not the key problem solver in your agency. So how do we remove you from your agency? When we were building Welling Media, the number one goal, I just knew that Chandler couldn't do the fulfillment. That's Chandler over there, by the way. Lord knows I can't do it. Yeah, and he did do it for a very long time, but I knew that if we wanted to scale our agency, that couldn't be his position. And it can't be your position either. And the problem that most people run into when starting an agency is that they become the key problem solver in the business, and it makes your whole business reliant on you. So how do you remove yourself from your business that it's not so dependent on you? Okay, well, first we have to talk about prioritization, okay? It's paramount when creating systems, Okay? And do you know the minimum viable systems required to consistently generate new leads, convert those leads, and deliver your agency service? Okay? Because really that's your agency in a whole. Being able to generate leads, converting those leads into sales, and then delivering on your service effectively. So this is our application number 1. This is that go and do, okay? And we'll have this stuff available for you guys, so if you don't get it written down fast enough, no worries, we're gonna make this available to everyone, okay? This is the agency client journey. Agency client journey. And the first thing, and I don't know if that's super hard to read on the screen, but at the top there, that big brick, okay, it's understanding your target client and your target service. Now, the point of this part of the presentation is not to figure out who your target client is, okay, or your target service. All right, this point of the presentation is to start laying systems in place, okay? So there's 100 other exercises that you probably need to do to figure out what your niche is and what agency service you should be providing. That's not the point here. You should know that, and we should be able to plug that in there pretty easily, okay? So once we understand your target client and your target service, the first thing we need to look at is awareness, right? Because you don't have a business if you can't generate leads, okay? And we need to know where these awareness sources are coming from, okay? How are you getting leads? Is it paid ads? Is it organic? Are you getting them from referrals? Are you getting them through cold outreach? We need to be able to figure out exactly where we're pulling traffic sources from. After we figure out where we're pulling traffic sources from, we need to figure out how we're moving them into a discovery phase, okay? And discovery phase just means, hey, they want to inquire about our business. How do we make sure that we go through and they know exactly what they're getting into and exactly what they're buying into? Okay, and part of this is like, are you sending them through a funnel? If they DM you, do you send them a Calendly link? Do you send them a job form? Do you send them to your team, right? So it's like, there's a lot of nuances there. So let's figure out the right way to do it and make sure that we're doing it consistently every single time. And then once we figure out where we have them in the discovery phase, and once we move them through the discovery phase, well, we have to sell them, right? And sales can be a multitude of things, so that's why I have multiple spots there for that sales column is that, you know, some people do a 1-call close, some people do a 2-call close, some people do discovery, then a first call, then a second call. Whatever it is for you guys, all right, build that out, okay? What does it look like taking them through that sales process? And then collections. How and when, okay, really important there, do you collect payment? Are you sending an invoice? Are you collecting over the phone? Are they signing an agreement on the phone? Are you sending them the agreement? Okay, how does that work? Make sure you have that dialed in. It seems super simple, and you're like, yeah, Josh, I already know that, but does your team know? Could you pass it off to someone? If you disappeared today, could someone step in and be able to fulfill that role? Maybe, okay? And then onboarding. So after we move through collections, we move into onboarding, okay? Probably one of the most skipped over pieces of systemization is onboarding, okay? And probably the most important. It's really exciting to land new leads, guys, and it's really exciting to get sales and generate new revenue. But what happens when that client walks out your door 3 months later? It's not infrastructure for scale, I can tell you that. It's not very good, okay? So we're going to really hone in on our onboarding process. How do your clients get started? What are the wins that you want them to accomplish within the first 7 days, the first 14 days, the first 30 days, okay? What wins do we want your clients to have? And then what communication channels are we gonna open up? That way our clients feel heard and know that, hey, like I'm getting exactly what I paid for, okay? So what communication channels do we wanna open up? And there might be other things you wanna include in your onboarding process. That's up to you as the agency. I've seen it done a million different ways before, but it's up to you at the end of the day how you wanna run your onboarding process. And lastly, second to last thing, fulfillment, okay? How's the work completed? I can't go very deep here because you all run different agencies. You got lead gen specialists, you got people that need e-commerce, you guys are all over the place. So fulfillment, how is it completed, okay? And this exercise here, it's not meant to go extremely deep, okay? This isn't a mild deep exercise, this is surface level. We're starting to get the gears turning for bigger and better systems, which I'm gonna show you how to build next. And then lastly, repeat, okay? And potentially one of the more skipped over phases as well, okay? They sign a 3-month agreement How do we get them on for 6 months, 12 months, okay? How are we taking them into a repeat customer phase? Is that making sense so far? Yep. You guys cool with that? All right, sweet. All right. We're on to phase number 2. Does phase 1 make sense? Yep. Who remembers phase 1? There we go. I remember it. Bro, get out of here. All right, phase 2, delegation. All right, number 1 myth about delegation. Agency owners are the only people who can come up with systems or do it right. Okay? Guys, trust me, you're not that special, all right? People on your team can do what you do, okay? Even if it means you have to teach them. All right, so delegations. Systems do exist within your business, and they're in your heads of you and your team, okay? So it's not just on you. Your team also has it. So remember, your business is currently functioning. Your business is currently functioning, and we're not looking to tear this thing down to the studs. So after you go away from this talk today, you shouldn't be thinking like, we're going to tear down the whole business and we're going to rebuild all of our systems. Guys, you have most of your systems, I promise. It's probably inside of your head or inside of your team's head. We just have to extract that out of them, okay? So, getting started. Application number 2. Once again, if it's hard to read on the screen, I apologize, but we'll get you guys copies of this and it'll make more sense, okay? So, process organizational chart. This is one of my favorite things ever. This is where I nerd out a majority of my time, okay? Some of my clients are probably smiling right now because they're like, yeah, we've done this. But the process organizational chart, really important, okay? And the first step of doing this is identifying our lane. So if you look at the screen, I've got a laser pointer, sweet, right here, okay? We're gonna identify our lanes, all right? And this might be things like, hey, marketing, sales, fulfillment, re-signs, okay? Different lanes of our business, okay? And that's a pretty simple concept. Most of us understand that, okay? So we're gonna identify those lanes. The second step is figuring out what those lane/department responsibilities are. Once we label them with responsibilities, we're one step closer to being able to create a system for that. And then step 3, we're gonna assign the team. The who? A team, not you, okay? Because your team is more than capable of creating these systems, okay? Now, when we assign our team, there's a couple people that we need in place, okay? A couple people that we need in place. We need a systems GOAT. Yeah, okay? Greatest of all time. This is going to be, as some people call it, as like a COO or an integrator within their business, okay? So we need a systems GOAT in order to kind of take charge of this, okay? Because once again, we don't want you as the owner of the business to take charge. So we want a systems GOAT or a COO, an integrator of some sort, to take charge of this for you. And then we can go ahead and assign other key players as needed. So if your systems GOAT, in my case, when I was a COO, like I didn't know everything within the business. I didn't know the first thing about media buying. I still don't know the first thing about media buying, but guess what? My employees do, right? And so I'm gonna go ahead and assign them to helping me build my systems, okay? Now, phase 3, extraction. Remember, your first version is very unlikely to be your last, okay? First version is very unlikely to be your final version, okay? So when we go through extraction, step 1, identify the result you're looking to achieve. Step 1, identify the result you're looking to achieve with that system. This is a good time to take notes, by the way. Step 2 would be identify who produces that result, okay? Chances are they're going to have a say in how the system goes. You guys good there? Get those? Step 3. Determine your capture method. That one always kind of sticks people because they're like, well, Josh, what do you mean capture method? How you're going to record that actual system, okay? And most people, when they do systems, they're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to create an SOP. It's going to be a document. I'm going to put it in my Google Drive, and then no one's ever going to look at it again. Well, that's not how we should do systems, okay? Because we want to make sure our whole team is looking at this. Okay, so we're going to determine our capture method. Loom, great idea for capturing systems. We're going to show people exactly what we do and how we do it, okay? We're not just going to list it out in bullet points. We're going to show people the buttons that we click, how we set up campaigns. And some of this is going to take a little bit of leniency, right? And those of you in the e-com space, understand this. Like if you're setting up a media buying account, it's not the same thing every single time. Like it's not cookie cutter, right? So there's gonna have to be some leniency. You're gonna have to be able to have some forgiveness in these systems to be able to think, right? So determine your capture method. And then after that, we're gonna record that actual task being done. So whether that's through Loom, if you own a creative agency, I would highly recommend getting a GoPro, strap that thing on your head and show people, this is how I'm setting up my camera settings. This is the exact lighting setup. This is where I'm putting light 1, light 2. This is where the backdrop goes. This is where the camera goes. Show them exactly where it is. Because if you could do that, you can translate it way better than a piece of paper that they're just reading off of, okay? They get a visual representation. They get to consume it visually. They get to audibly hear it, okay? And then after that, then we can do a storage of that specific system. So we're gonna put it somewhere where the team can see it. It's very visible. And then step 6, create a step-by-step document, okay? And that'll be our last step. So that document will exist, but the most important part is that visual and audible aspect. You guys align with that?
Yes.
Cool. All right, after that, we're gonna review the system. Okay, so you as a CEO, yeah, of course, review the system. See if there's any holes you can punch in it. Have your team review the system. See if there's any holes that they can punch in it. Okay? We want the team to be able to make edits. All right? We want to bring in this system-centric culture into our agency. That way, everyone has a say of the system. And of course, there's going to be times where we say, like, no, like we can't implement that into the system. But you never know. Someone might bring an idea to the table that is a game changer for your business. And then lastly, have your team teach each other the system. Right? New employees come on, great. Another employee teaches that. Right? And not the systems goat, and not the key players. I'm talking, the people that had just learned it. Let's go ahead and have them reteach it. Okay? It's going to solidify it better for them. That's extraction. Application number 3. Okay? This is system assignment. System assignment. Okay? Now, on this far left column here, we're going to have the department. Okay? The department. All right? And then over here, we're going to have our systems needs. Okay? So say like this was marketing, for example. And I had a specific example that I wanted to read off, so give me 2 seconds here. Okay, I'm sorry. Department is sales, okay? And the systems needed is closing call meeting prep, okay? Closing call meeting prep. Does that make sense, everyone, so far? You guys understand closing call meeting prep? Sweet. All right, and the description of this is, hey, like we need to figure out what our closing methodology might be, what our pitch deck would look like if we were bringing a pitch deck to the table. All right, do we need to set up an invoice because are they paying on the phone or are they paying you after the fact? I'd recommend having them pay you on the phone. I like my money now. And then do you need to have an agreement ready to sign, right? So we're gonna put some description here of like, hey, like, here's some ideas of like the system that we wanna put into place, and we're gonna go and actually record that. And you might actually record a live sales call and show one that successfully went through A to Z. Now you can see exactly how it was done, okay? You just created a really great system and it didn't take a lot of time because you're not taking extra time to do it. You're actually recording the system live. So you can drop a lot of time by just doing it in the live itself. Okay? And you can do this across your entire company. System assignment makes sense? Sweet. Cool. You guys still with me?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just making sure like this isn't too dry for you guys, all right? I know it's operations and systems, a little nerdy, but we're gonna get through it together, I promise. Nerd me, baby. All right, phase 4, assembly. Okay, the fact is, systemized agencies sell for more. Oh, everyone's ears just perked up just a little bit. Just a little bit, all right? Systemized agencies sell for more, okay? So we have to systemize our agency, okay? And systems are truly the #1 asset of your agency because no employee on any level should be so critical to your agency that they're irreplaceable. That's an important point. I would maybe jot that one down. No employee on any level should ever be so critical to your agency that they're irreplaceable. Okay, so how do we tie it together exactly? Well, there's really only 2 tools that you'll need to get your systems in line, okay? And the 2 tools, the first one's going to be a systems management software. Now, there are systems management softwares out there that actually exist that are meant for systems management software. If you Google systems management software, you can find those, but they're really expensive, okay? And I'll share you guys a nice little tech stack that you can use if needed. But we have a few things that we want for our systems management software. We want something that's dedicated strictly to system storage, okay? Dedicated strictly to system storage. The ability to attach media, okay? Videos, files, whatever that might be. We need permission levels, okay? Sometimes it doesn't make sense for certain employees to see certain things within the systems management folder, okay? Media buyers don't necessarily need to know the systems for creative, okay? Ease of use, okay? I want it to be easy to use. And then lastly, a sign-off, okay? I want to know when my team has gone through the systems and they have said like, hey, I understand this. I'm signing off that I've gone through it. I've watched the video. I've read the step-by-step document. I know how to apply it. I'm good to go. Because that way I can see it. Because if I come back in and someone messes up, I'm like, okay, well, did you go through the system? And if there's no sign-off, I'll be like, oh, okay, you didn't go through our systems, right? So really easy way for you to keep your team accountable. Second thing that we're going to need is a project management software, all right? In the project management software, we're going to need a couple things. Okay? We're going to need task creation. We're going to need subtask creation. We're going to need a task description. We're going to need the ability to put links, an easy way to duplicate, a timeline view, permission levels, and ease of use. Okay? Those are all things that you're looking for inside your project management. If it doesn't have it, it's probably not a very good project management. For the most part, most of the project management software is out there, and the ones that you probably use are going to have this, but I want to cover it just in case. So, some recommended tech stack here. A few things that I've seen across the agencies that we've worked with and things that we've used in our agency. Okay? First one is the systems management. Okay? Now, like I said, there are actual systems management softwares out there, but they're a little expensive, so I like Notion. Notion's a great database. Any information that you ever want to store in Notion, it's a great place to organize data. You can apply tags to it. You can filter. It's really manageable from like a readability standpoint, and so it's a really great place to store systems. Okay? Some people use it for project management as well, and I'm okay with it as a project manager. It just, the setup is a lot more difficult because it's a lot more customizable. Okay, project management tools. Personally, I like Monday and ClickUp. I've just been around them the most. It's what I see a lot of agencies use. Eddie's agency uses ClickUp. Used to use Monday, now uses ClickUp. Okay, really great. Also, I have no affiliate to this at all, so I'm not just like making bucks up here pitching these softwares. But Monday, ClickUp, both really solid softwares for project management. The reason that I like these is they're really easy to use, and it doesn't take like a huge overhaul to get set up. So check those out. And then that last one, does anyone know what that last one is? And yeah. Miro. Yeah, it's Miro. Has anyone ever used Miro before? Of course. Miro, it's awesome. One of my favorite tools to use, especially with like anything like business planning. I house almost my entire business on Miro. It's a very visual platform, but basically it's just like an open board that you can essentially just do anything on. So we build like a lot of system flows in there. We do like all my brain dumps go in there. So if I'm ever just like, I wonder like how I would like fit this system into this agency, I'll go in there and like I'll craft out a nice little creative agency flow, right? And so check out that app. I really enjoy it. I think you guys will benefit from it. It's free too, which is pretty cool. So your initial board is free. So go check it out. I have yet to pay for Miro. So and I've been using it for about 1.5 years now. There we go. All right, phase 5. We're almost there, I promise. Everyone take a big deep breath. All right, we're feeling good, feeling alive. Okay, phase 5. We're talking integration at this point. So how do we roll this out? And this is the hardest part, is integrating it into your team. It's really easy to set up systems and be able to say, we've got them, but to actually get your team to follow them. And this is where it happens, is the integration aspect. Okay, so how do we roll this out exactly? Okay, well, we're going to assign our systems goat. We kind of talked about this. So who will be leading the charge on your new systems? Okay, and who's going to be building out your new systems? And hint, it's not you. Okay, so you as a CEO, you're not the systems goat, unless you're like a solo entrepreneur or like maybe 1 or 2 people. Okay, maybe you do have to take charge on this for now, but probably not your most important thing is to build out systems when you're a 1 to 2 person operation. Okay. After that, we have to know our selling points. So when we go to roll this out to the team, we have to be able to be really excited about this. Trust me, it's not easy to be excited about operations. I'm excited about it. I think you guys are excited about it too. But there's team benefits, right? So fewer errors and less wasted effort. Improved employee onboarding. Okay? Reduced micromanagement. Eliminates single-person dependency. And identifies and fills gaps in competence and capabilities. So some team benefits we want to bring to the table when we're saying like, hey, like, we're really excited about this. This is how it's going to benefit us as a team. And then, of course, the business benefits as well. So we want to preach these to the team because if the business benefits, they're going to benefit. Duplicate best practices, improve results for clients, free up time for strategy, scale for more profitable expansion, and make the business more attractive to buyers. Okay, goes back to that, hey, we're more sellable now. Then we're going to get some extra integration. What's up? I was not ready for that at all, but I'm glad you're here. All right, so we have some extra integration here towards the end, okay? So we're going to introduce our new system to the team. So when we're rolling this out to the team, we're going to introduce this new system to the team, okay? And when you go and introduce this new system, when we go to introduce this new system to the team, you should have a few examples to show them. Okay? So we should show them some examples of like what the new system looks like and actually roll it out to the team that way. Okay? And then step 2, we're going to start the extraction process. So that's it. Let your systems go to work. Stop micromanaging them and let them bring you at least the first rendition and the first draft of that new system. Step 3, tie your systems into your project management software. Okay? This is kind of a delicate process. And we can't expect every team member to open the system every single time. So what we have set up in our project management should flow very nicely with what our SOP or what our system looks like in that video format and that captured format. So we want to tie that closely to our project management software. We want those married close. Because it's not necessarily a waste of time, but it's time consuming to always open your systems management folder and be like, okay, like how do I do this again? How do I do this again? Okay. If that's the case, you probably need to make an edit to that system. And then step 4, encourage a self-sufficient team. Get your team in the habit of checking their systems before asking you a question. Okay? Your time's important. You got a lot of things going on, and so we want to make sure that the team is somewhat self-efficient to being able to check these systems and being able to refer back to the resources that we do have. You spent time doing this, so let's refer back to it. Okay? And then the systems culture. This is really important. There's going to be resistance at the beginning of building systems. There always is. We've had it in our agency. I'm sure you've had it in your agency. And some people aren't systems people. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that probably means that they're not a good fit for your culture. Okay? So if there's resistance, try and figure out why there's resistance. But if at the end of the day, they're not willing to follow the systems that you're implementing, might be a good time to exit them. Okay? And then phase 6, scale. How do we roll all of this out? Okay, well, what systems do we need to build first? Well, I would highly recommend starting with a weekly. What happens on a weekly cadence in your business that's repetitive, okay? Stuff like maybe issuing invoices. We're sending invoices out on a weekly basis, okay? Signing contracts, onboarding clients, okay? Things that you can see happening on a weekly basis. That's where we should start with our systems. And then from there, we move to monthly. Payroll, prepping for a P&L, monthly leadership meetings, okay? Pretty broad spectrum there. And then yearly systems, okay? End of year financial analysis, maybe like a studio or an office deep clean. It's like, how the heck do we clean the office? You ever think about that? You ever like walk into your bathroom and be like, I told someone to clean the bathroom and there's piss all over the toilet seats. I know I've dealt with it. It's like, well, maybe if I taught them how to clean the toilet appropriately and we had a system in place for it, it'd get cleaned right the first time. Sounds crazy. And it's actually a system that I've put into place with an agency before. So pretty wild. Application next steps. Continued prescription, okay? Don't just stop at the few key systems, all right? The few key systems will get you by for a while, okay? They're gonna be really important. That first application, gonna be really important, okay? But we're gonna look to systemize literally everything. Like, how do you clean the toilets, right? Continue DEA, okay? You have the system, now use it, delegation, extraction, and assembly, okay? Delegation, extraction, assembly. We're gonna continue to repeat that. And then use your team, guys. So important to use your team. You brought on a team, they're very smart, they're very capable. Use your systems goat, department heads, key players within each of those lanes that we talked about. They're gonna be building your systems. And the last one, go on vacation. Your business doesn't need you anymore. Okay, that's not true. Your business probably needs you, but you'll now have the ability to do things like go on vacation and walk away from the business for a week, maybe 2 weeks, okay? That's the whole goal. Lastly, we're here, baby. Optimize, okay? At the end of the day, you guys don't have to be Toyota, all right? It'd be cool if you were. But you don't have to be Toyota. But you can't improve what you don't measure. And so we want to make sure that things are very measurable in our business. So part of this application for the next step is create a data dashboard. Collecting data is usually not the problem. We usually have a good grip on the data of our business, whether it's revenue numbers, profit. But analyzing and recovering insights is the real challenge and how we should change those things. So create a data dashboard for your business, okay? And it doesn't have to be anything super unique. It could simply be an Excel sheet. I'm kind of known for my Monday dashboards, but it doesn't have to be something extremely crazy. It could be something extremely simple. Step 2, uncover problems. You should have a running list of problems, or if you guys get offended by the word problems, opportunities, okay? Opportunities in your project management that your team is uncovering and that you can put into something that you need to create a system for. Okay? And you can address it in meetings, and we can figure out the new system that needs to be put in place for those opportunities. And then step 3, begin to optimize. Remember, your agency is mostly running currently. Okay? The systems are inside of your head. We're just looking for constant optimization, consistency, and to extract it out of your head. So, decision time. Okay? We can either take crucial action on building really great systems within our agency, and we can build for a really sellable future, which is extremely exciting. And even if your goal is not to sell, this is going to help you grow and create more profit and to scale revenue. Okay? This is not just a tactic to sell. It will help you sell, but not just a tactic to sell. Or we do nothing and stay in that survival stage, which was the bottom. So, Q&A. Appreciate you guys, thank you. I can't see anyone back there, so there's people raising their hands, let me know. Where at? Over to the right.
Hey, brother.
Hey, Tommy.
Check.
Yeah.
Yo, so from your experience in working with a lot of agencies, and we're all agencies owners in here. Out of all of these things, where do you think the biggest hiccup is in the process? Right? Is it where it causes the most problems for the business? Is it the onboarding? Is it the roadmap? Is it the client relationship? Because I know for us personally, until we made the decision to give a clear roadmap of what's going to happen before the relationship starts, it never worked out the right way, right? And so I just wanted to get your take on how important it is to how starting off the relationship, how important that is going into a new relationship with a client.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's so important. So essentially what Tommy was kind of talking about is like starting off new relationships with your clients and how important it is to onboard them appropriately and having a really good system. And if you guys don't have an onboarding process, would highly recommend starting there for one of your first systems that you build out, because man, your ability to keep clients will tie to your ability to scale. And if you follow me on Twitter, there's some people on Twitter that disagree with that. Your ability to scale will tie to your ability to keep clients, not just sign them. And it's like, yes, we want to sell, but we need to be able to keep clients. So in my opinion, two things. That onboarding process, super key. That client journey, super key, okay? Communication, what do we want that to look like, okay? Really key to us being able to retain our clients. But on the back end, you'd be surprised how many people don't have systems put in place for re-signing, cross-selling, upselling clients. Holy cow, like we're not even getting in contact with clients after contracts have expired. So start there, okay? Front end, back end. Does that make sense, Tommy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Chan Man.
What's the number one wasted expense? So if you're talking about reducing overhead and fixed costs, when you go into an agency, is there certain areas of software? Is it employees? Is it splurge items? Like what's the number where you're like, yo, we got to get your costs down and this is where you're overspending?
Yeah, good question. I mean, in my opinion, I think, if you're trying to get costs down inside of your operation, it could be a multitude of things. I mean, payroll is always going to be your number one expense to the company. I mean, your people are the most expensive. And so, obviously we want to pay our people well, but we want to make sure those things are in check. And of course, the expenses to the business on, as an entrepreneur, we want to make sure those are in check and that we have the ability to scale appropriately and I guess keep the expenses that, it is a benefit to own a business. It's great. Like we get to do a lot of cool things as business owners, but what's the point of, too much, right? So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Yeah, I was just curious if there was a trend, like you're looking at 30 agencies, right? Like what are people spending money on that you're like, wow, we need to bring that down?
Yeah.
Is it too many software?
No, I mean, software's not that expensive. You can get away with a software stack for, like a full one for $1,000 a month, in my opinion. I don't think it's too expensive. I mean, people is really a thing. Hiring too early can be a huge expense to your business. So good systems allow you to hire less people. Cool. Justin, in the back? Then we'll go you.
So question on the visibility of your systems for clients. So as you know, we've got everything in ClickUp as well.
Yeah.
How much should we be sharing with our clients into the actual project management tools we're running? Like,
Sure.
Should we give them really project level details or just kind of communicating that in our meetings with them?
Yeah, it's something that, in my opinion, it's like very nuanced. So if you're running like a creative agency like you are, it's like there's certain things that you'll probably communicate to the team that you won't necessarily communicate to the client. But I think in like a paid media team, I think you should be very transparent on the results that are being delivered. So they should see the inside of what's happening inside the accounts and your data dashboard for them and all that. What your media buyers see, I think they should see. Is that helpful?
Yeah, very helpful. Great presentation.
Cool. Hey, thanks, man. Dude, your voice, perfect for radio. It's so good.
We've got Joshua Johnson here
Yeah,
today.
there it is right there. It's so good. Are you kidding? Wow. Up front.
So obviously with everything you just talked about, it's very important to have the right conversations with your employees and your team to buy in to the systems that you're trying to integrate and flow with. What do those conversations look like? Like what kind of language do you use to get people to buy in, both when like you're onboarding new employees, but also on an ongoing basis with your team?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of it's tied to excitement. It's really hard to be like, hey, we're implementing this and just like be like very brash about it. Going back to the slide where I talk about the benefits is going to be really important for you. So get excited. Tell them about the benefits. Hey, this is how it's actually going to benefit you as a person within this company, right? So we're going to get really excited about releasing new systems into our business simply by us being excited as the leader of our business. Cool?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Wow, this is so much fun. Cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time today. If you have more questions, let me know.